Hello, Hero Collectors here. How's it going, everybody? Hope y'all are doing fantastic. I know I am, and today we're going to be reviewing these three Marvel Legends figures that don't really connect to each other. I just got them around the same time. We have Silk from the Spider-Man 60th Anniversary 2-pack with Dr. Octopus. Thank you to my friend Gwen for helping me get this figure. We have Magneto from the X-Men 97 Wave 2, and we have Bruce Banner from the Infinity Saga Wave from, I believe, 2024. We've got three figures here, so without further ado, let's start off with Bruce Banner. Alright, getting into Bruce Banner, first off, I just want to say this is one of the best movie likenesses I have seen on a Marvel Legend. It really captures Mark Ruffalo from that Thor Ragnarok, Infinity War era. I think it looks pretty good here. It's even got a little bit of the gray in the temples. And moving on, he's a bit of a suited body that we've seen a lot of times. This is the Coulson Chameleon mold, except he does have some upgraded pinless arms and a new jacket. There's no printing on the jacket, really. And, of course, we got the pinless legs with the really bad feet. These are notorious for not being able to stand up on its own very well. You can see that the shirt is printed like a plaid, but it does not continue onto the back, if you can see that there. And it's just because, you're not going to really see the back in most normal circumstances. You can see the figure has some wide open, kind of more relaxed hands, but he also has, as I make sure that he's not going to fall over, a set of fisted hands, as you can see here. I would have really liked to have seen an extra head, maybe one where it's half turning into the Hulk, or maybe one where he's like angry and you see veins. Just another head would have been really nice to see with this Bruce Banner, especially since this is the second Bruce Banner we've gotten, the first with digital face printing tech. To bring in a quick comparison, here is the Avengers 1 movie Hulk. I don't believe this was the Marvel Legends release. If I'm remembering correctly, this is the, was it a Walmart exclusive or a Toys R Us exclusive? I can't remember. Just mainline movie Hulk, but it uses all the same Marvel Legends pieces that the, I believe, second release did. I don't know if this actually got a Legends release or not, but I know this is also the Ultimate Green Goblin mold. So there is that comparison. But now with that out of the way, let's go ahead and go over articulation so he can look up. About that far, the back of the head runs into the coat, or the jacket, sorry. The head can look down that far. It is on a ball and hinge, so he can look side to side and gets ever so slight amount of tiltage. The arms can go up that far, full 360, cut at the bicep, double jointed pinless elbows. All the hands do hinge up and down. The torso can get this much range forward and some back. Of course, the jacket affects it. Can turn at the waist. His hips go out that far, and he can kick forward, not really back. Thigh swivel, double jointed, pinned knees, cannot kick his own butt. And then, of course, he does have ankles that go down. They go up ever so slightly, and he does have pivot, which, again, ankles and the bowness of these legs, the fact that they can bend, I should say, is a factor in trying to stand this guy up. So, what are my final thoughts on this Bruce Banner figure? Well, it is a good upgrade to the Bruce Banner that came in the 4-pack. I can't remember if that was an exclusive or not, but I never had that 4-pack figure, so I just kind of waited, and now I have this figure. And overall, I am satisfied. I do wish they took the opportunity to give him pinless legs, much like the Matt Murdock figure that I want to say came out around the same time. I would have liked to have seen that introduced here with this Bruce Banner so that he doesn't fall over all the time. We need to not have this suited body anymore. And the Matt Murdock does aim to fix that, but this guy just missed out on it for whatever reason. Aside from that, I do wish he had some extra accessories. I talked about alternate heads a minute ago, but also some alternate hands. And some of the photos you're probably seeing right now, I swapped out some comic green hands to kind of simulate him turning into the Hulk, and it's a nice dynamic way for him to do that. So I wish maybe even if we didn't get extra heads, we could have gotten some green hands to make it look like he's turning. I mean, if we were getting that, maybe an angry head would have been appropriate too, but I digress. Otherwise, I think it's fine. He's just going to stand there. He's going to do some sciencey stuff on my shelf. I don't need it to be an amazingly dynamic figure. This satisfies my need for Bruce Banner. I just wish it came with more options to make him more fun. Speaking of fun, does he have the fun factor? I'm going to say no. It's a very basic figure. While I did have a good time with it, I don't think it's the most dynamic or most engaging of figures in my collection. So I'm going to say it does not have the fun factor. Now, what is my final rating for this Bruce Banner? I'm going to say a 6.5 out of 10. I wanted to say a 7. 7's about my average to where I'd say you can buy it at full price. I did receive this as a gift, and I'm so thankful for my Secret Santa to have gotten me this figure. I'm very happy and very satisfied with this figure. I just think as a release, it should have come with more, especially since that wave was a lot of remolds, repaints, not a lot of fresh molds. Like, I don't even think a single figure was a brand new mold. They just got like limb upgrades or paint upgrades. So, again, I just think this Bruce Banner could have been better, but is still a satisfying release for my shelf. Now, I could have saved the best for last, but I decided to put her right in the middle. We have the Silk figure, and this is fantastic. Now, I missed out on the first 2 releases of Silk, and I just kind of waited and waited, hoping that the 2-pack with Dr. Octopus would go on sale, because this is clearly the best Silk that they have released, but that pack never went on sale. Thankfully, again, my friend Gwen happened to try this figure out, but it just didn't work out, and so she passed the Silk figure along to me, which I'm very thankful for, because this is one of the big spider characters I have been missing from my collection. So, just going over the figure, it's got a masked head here, which I really like the eye printing. It's very crisp. And then the hair, it has some blue highlights, which is nice. You can see it better there. She's got a very nice webbing design throughout the costume. A few smudges here and there, but it doesn't bother me too much. The red changes from black as you go lower in the abdomen. And of course, she's got these white lines that go onto the shoulders, the back of the arms, and then down to the legs, the back of the legs, and they just kind of taper off. And then she has some white printing on the shoes and red-tipped gloves. Very cool costume, very cool character. I like this design. So Silk was, of course, bitten by the same spider that Peter Parker was. So here's just a couple Peter Parkers from this era. Of course, this Renew Your Vows. This is just a more classic Spider-Man to compare to her. And then we have the all-new, all-different spider armor. I know this happens after Silk comes around, but I know it's a costume that Peter has around the time she's introduced. So just a couple quick comparisons. If you want to see her compared to Morlun, I do have that comparison in the photos, or just more of them fighting. Getting into the accessories, she has an alternate head where it's unmasked. It is the exact same hair sculpt, and then you also have this down mask, which when you pop off the head can just go on the neck. I'm not going to do that right now, but I know I took a picture of it so you can see it there. As you can see, she has a set of wide open hands or some wall crawling hands, but she also comes with a set of grip hands and a set of fists. Now, Silk is a little bit different. She doesn't have web shooters. She has organic webbing that shoots from her fingertips, so you can keep these hands on her and do that way. But my favorite accessory is, of course, this thwipping hand, which has web built into it. I think this is really cool. I think it's a lot better than the, not Jessica Drew, Julia Carpenter thwipping web accessory from the hand. This one is just a little bit more dynamic, and it's not like so wide and obtuse, if that's the word I'm looking for, but I really like this. It was fun to take photos of. But now let's go over Silk's articulation. So she is on the Shriek body mold, and she can look up that far. She can look down quite a bit. She is on a ball and hinge, so she can, of course, rotate side to side with a little bit of tiltage, so you can kind of get some expressions out of her. The shoulders can go up that far. She can do 360, bicep swivel, double jointed pinless elbows. All of the hands hinge up and down, except for the thwip hand that has no hinge. And then her torso can go back that far. She can crunch ever so slightly. She can tilt there. That's some pretty good range. I like that a lot. Sorry, I did not have that fully displayed. And then you can, of course, twist there. No super articulated torso, so there's no crunch at the lower part of the abdomen. So legs can go out that far, and then she can kick forward. Careful of the lines here scraping against the rest of the body. Just kind of have to twist, but there she can kick forward that high, very high, and kick back ever so slightly. As you can see there. Thigh cut, double jointed pinless knee, and if you really push it, yeah, she can kick her own butt. And then ankles go down that far, go up a nice amount, and she does have the ankle pivot. And something I just noticed, these do not have very deep peg holes at the bottom of the feet. It's rather shallow. So if you display your figures that way, it might not hold as well. But with all that out of the way, what are my final thoughts on this Silk figure? Silk has been a huge missing part of my collection. Once I got her in hand, she blew me away. It is a fantastic figure. May not be the pinnacle of female bodies for Marvel Legends, but between the accessories and the look of the figure and what articulation she does have, it is fantastic. I would dare say amazing, spectacular, and web of, if you get that joke. But genuinely, I had a great time with this figure, taking photos. I can't wait to put her on the display. I have to put her on a flight stand. Whipping with that extra hand is just such a fun accessory. I don't know what you could have included to make her better, in all honesty. Like, I think all of the accessories cover all the bases. It's a fantastic Silk figure. Does she have the fun factor? Of course. I just said a lot that I had a blast taking photos of her. Genuinely, probably one of my favorite spider related figures in my collection now, just because of how much fun I had with her. And then for a final rating, I'm going to give her either a 9 or a 9.5. I don't love to give 10 out of 10s, and I think that this figure, of course, could have had better articulation, but this is before they introduced the Black Widow body. I do really love how dynamic this figure is, even with some limited articulation and points, but it is still a great Silk figure. If you can find this figure for a cheap price point, I would say absolutely get her. It's a fantastic Silk, and you kind of need Silk for a Spider-Verse display, or even a 616 Spider-Man display. All right, finally here we have Magneto, and this is, of course, based off of his X-Men 97 look, but I got this figure because I think it could still work as a comic X-Men era Magneto when he was actually leader of the team. And you can see the face sculpt is rather animated. I will bring in a comic-based head sculpt here in a second. You can see that. And the cape here is very purple. Does not have any kind of coloring, printing on it or anything like that. Just a flat purple color. The body is based off of Vulcan, but you can see it's all one shade except for the M and the exposed shoulders here. And I think these arms, or at least the biceps, are new because that is actually a separate, like, raised piece on the bicep. But yeah, the rest of it is based on Vulcan, so it's the new average male figure size. But you can see that head sculpt there. So, like I mentioned, I have a more comic-based Magneto. This is, I want to say, the Apocalypse Wave 2017 head sculpt. It is not the pinnacle of face printing tech, but that's just a comparison of the comic versus the show. Again, I think this can still fit in a display, especially since if you keep it in a comic display, it'll look close. It's not going to fit in a movie display, that's for sure, but even animated, I think it works. So let's take that Magneto out. Let's take a look at the accessories. He has an alternate Angry Head, which I think will fit on other Magnetos, so if you want to equip it to those, it'll work either way with either head. And then as you can see, he has a set of fists on him, but he also has a set of wide open, expressive, or relaxed hands, which is great for a character like Magneto to display his power set. Let's quickly go over articulation. The hair and cape do kind of limit his articulation, so that's about as far as he's going to look up. And he can bury the chin, but the cape really makes it look like he's hiding his mouth. Maybe it's a scarf. He's preparing for the winter. He can turn his head to side, but again, limited because of the cape and hair. He's on a ball and hinge and can not really get any tilt. So shoulders can move up that high. He does have butterflies, which can be stopped by the cape when you move backwards. Can do a full 360. He's got bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, pinless. All the hinge up and down. He's got a standard ab crunch, which can go that far forward and that far back. You do get some gappage in the front of the torso when you angle it back like that. The cape, of course, does peg into the back, so if you ever want to remove it, you absolutely can. Waist can swivel. Hips go out that far. And then they kick forward. Not much back. He's got a thigh swivel. Double jointed pinless knee. And let's see. Oh yeah, he can kick his own butt just like that. He's got a boot swivel or calf swivel, whatever you want to call it. And then his, they're a little tough, but toes can point down, can go up a little bit, and he does have some good pivots. So what are my final thoughts on Magneto? This is a solid Magneto figure. I think it's using the best body that they can in a comic-based fashion, very plain. You can print whatever you want on it. I think the likeness is good to the show, but also fits well into a comic-based display. My problem is less with the figure and more with how I like to take pictures. I have a harder time with these, powerful flight-based characters that don't really show their powers. It's very point the hand that way, and then you have something else going on dynamic to the side. I just was very uninspired, I guess, in my photo taking. I tried to do my best. I just don't think I really nailed a lot of what I could do just because I struggle with these types of characters. The figure itself is fine. I just don't always have the most enjoyable time with said character. In terms of including other stuff, maybe he could have come with like a kind of bent steel beam or something like that. I know we've gotten a pipe with Hulk before, and I think I took a picture with that, or maybe it was with a different figure. I can't remember. But maybe including something else that would have been a bit more fun. But other than that, I don't know what else you really could have included. I think on its own, it is a good figure. I just tend to struggle with these types of characters. In terms of fun factor, I'm going to be biased and say no, he doesn't, but that also, again, depends on the person, because I tend to struggle with these characters. If you are somebody that likes that and can find that to be very dynamic, you will probably have more fun than I did. But again, that doesn't really affect the figure overall. My final rating, I'm going to give him, let's say a 7.5, maybe an 8 out of 10. Let's say a 7.5. A serious argument could be made for 8. I think it's a good figure. Again, solid figure. I just tend to struggle with these kind of power sets where it's very dramatic, hand posing with something else, maybe a little energy on the hands, something like that. All right, and that was my review of these 3 Marvel Legends figures. We have Silk, Magneto, and Bruce Banner. Let me know what you thought of these figures down in the comments below. Let me know what you thought of the review, and while you're down there, make sure you leave a like. Make sure you are subscribed, and I will talk to you all in another video, another post, another time.